Very good evening, dear students. Today's session is the extension of the other half of industrial engineering estimation and costing. So, the last three chapters we are going to add in the model paper 2, and along with that, we'll be also seeing the sample questions or expected questions out of those three chapters. Let us begin our discussion with the first question, that is, list out the advantages of inspection. Inspection ensures the quality. It is helping us to detect the defects and maintain the product standards. Inspection is also one of the main components is going to lead towards customer satisfaction, which guarantees reliable products and reducing the complaints generated. Moving to next question, what is a control chart? Control chart is a statistical tool used in the quality control in order to monitor whether the process is stable or unstable. It is basically going to plot the mean or the range against the time within the controlled limits. Suppose any product is being manufactured and we require that the product should have some desirable size. So based on the size, that is what we are supposed to make, we have to check, is the product or is the part which is being fabricated, is it within the tolerances or is it fluctuating? So those tolerances has to be kept very close in order to increase the acceptance of the product. Okay, so next is the control chart also helps to detect the variation due to assignable causes against the natural causes. So basically it is only going to predict the stability of the process which is to be studied. Moving to next question, define estimation. Estimation is the process of predicting the cost, time, and resources required for the project or the job before the actual execution. It is used in the planning, budgeting, and decision making. Estimation is the preliminary step which helps us to ease the decision making process. Moving to next question. Write the formula used to calculate the prime cost. Prime cost is the summation of direct materials, direct labor, direct expenses. So it can be abbreviated as prime cost is equal to DM plus DL plus DE. DM stands for direct materials, DL stands for direct labor, and DE stands for direct expenses. Now moving to next question. List out, just a minute. List out the three SQC techniques, that is statistical quality control techniques. First is control charts. Control charts is to monitor the variation. Once again, control charts also helps in predicting the stability of the process. Next is acceptance sampling. It is to decide whether the batch of a component that is being manufactured or produced, is it in the acceptable range or unacceptable. If it is unacceptable, then it has to be reworked once again or it has to be scrapped if it is not meeting the specifications. Next is process capability analysis. It is to check whether the process is able to meet the specifications. So these are the three statistical quality control techniques. Next is what are the objectives of X bar and R charts? X bar itself is to indicate the mean chart. It monitors the process average. Remember that whenever we write X bar or something, or if we are writing an alphabet and over it if we are putting a bar, basically it is to indicate or it is the average of that parameter that is to be measured. Next is R bar chart or R chart is nothing but the range chart. It is going to monitor the variability or the spread of the process. That is, it is going to help us to know upper limit as well as lower limits. Next is together they ensure the stable and consistency of the process. Stability and consistency of the process. Moving to next question. Write the three qualities of an estimator. So remember that this term estimator is a very important person. Reason is that you will be finding real-time applications of this role, especially when a factory is being when there is an installation process or when the factory is being constructed or any project or any construction project is been happening. Before that the role of estimator comes, because this person is going to tell us what is the quantity of materials, or approximate, I should tell you precisely, this person predicts the approximate quantity of the materials, manpower and the other machinery that is being required in order for the completion of the project. So the qualities of estimator is to maintain the accuracy, use the reliable resources or reliable data that is available, and based on that give the accurate estimates. Next is the estimator is also required to possess the analytical skill which helps in breaking down the task logically. So this is essential skill, especially when anyone who is working in a project or managing a project. Estimator also requires the practical knowledge to understand material, labor, methods. These all categories fall into resources. Resources are to be acquired for completion of the project. Moving to next question. What are the causes of depreciation? Depreciation happens due to wear and tear of the machine components, that is due to the physical usage of the machine. As the machine parts will be undergoing relative motion, due to the relative motion there will be interaction of surfaces. That interaction of surfaces is going to result wear and tear. Next is the machine, any manufacturer who is preparing or who is fabricating a machine, definitely he will be fabricating the machine with different generations. So those different generations will be, I mean, the variability will be there based on the additional features that is being added. You could take an example of the mobile phone itself. Every single month or every within a matter of 3 months, you are finding the same company launching a different mobile phone with different features. So that rapid changes in technology enforces the organization to look for or adding the new generation products, because it is going to result in the outdatation. Next is the causes of depreciation. The next one is passage of time, that is natural aging also reduces its usefulness. So these are the primary causes of depreciation of any product. Moving to next question, explain the procedure for P chart, that is attribute control chart. So purpose of P chart is to monitor the proportion of defective items in the process. The steps that are need to followed is to collect the sample data, take the samples of size n at regular intervals. That regular intervals or the frequency at which the samples has been chosen is to be known, because these samples or the variation in the samples is plotted against the time. So that helps the to predict the stability of the process. Next is calculate the proportion defective, that is number of defectives in the sample divided by the total sample size. Next is compute the average proportion defectives, that is total defectives divided by total samples inspected. Okay. Next is to calculate the control limit. Control limit is upper control limit and lower control limit, that is P bar plus 3 times of root over P bar into 1 minus P bar divided by n. And similarly for lower limit, it has to be subtracted. Next is to plot the sample proportion against the time with upper limit, control limit and lower limit, and understand the variability occurring in the process, and then later on predict the stability of the process. If all the points are falling outside the limits, if all the points, let's say this is we are plotting some parameter x against the time, and if we find the variation like this, then the process is said to be stable. That means with the inclusion of upper limit, lower limit and control limit, we are finding that the curve is crossing the average line. Okay. If the points are either on the upside or on the downside, then the process has gone out of control. So we have to recalibrate the machine in order to make the process stable. Moving to next question, explain the single sampling plan with a neat sketch. So It's a quality control plan where a single sample is being drawn from a lot and inspected. The procedure is to decide the sample size, fix the acceptance number, that is maximum defectives allowed, inspect the each of sample. If the defectives are less than or equal to C, then the lot is to be accepted. If the defectives are greater than C, then we have to reject the lot. The box is labeled as lot and arrow to sample, and decision is for the diamond. Defectives, if it is less than the value C, then it has to accept the lot, and defectives, if they are greater than C, then the lot is to be rejected. Moving to next question. Differentiate between estimation and costing. Estimation is determining the approximate cost or future cost before the work is being started. And costing is recording the actual cost after the work is being completed. The purpose of estimation is to provide the information or the basis for decision making, planning, budgeting, tendering. And the purpose of cost is for controlling analysis and decision making. Estimation is done before the production and costing is done after the production. Basis for estimation is assumptions, experience, and the data which is available, or the older data would be used as a reference and it could be incorporated into the new process. Cost, the basis for costing is real expenditure records. Moving to next question, let's see a numerical question from the estimation and costing. So here it is about a radial drilling machine which is purchased at a cost of 2,90,000 and installation cost was around 10,000 rupees. Serviceable life of the machine was estimated as 5 years and its scrap value is 1 lakh. That is the value after when the machine is being scrapped. Determine the rate of depreciation by sinking fund method if the rate of interest is 5%. So, first is to put the purchased amount or purchase price of machine. Purchase price of machine is equal to 2,90,000. Installation cost is 10,000 rupees. Now, total initial cost that is been spent that is equal to 2,90,000 plus 10,000, which is 3 lakhs. Next is scrap value. Scrap value is 1 lakh rupees. Serviceable life is 5 years. And rate of interest is 5%. Now, first is to calculate depreciation amount. Depreciation amount is equal to total initial cost minus scrap value. So this is the amount which has been lost, that is 3 lakh minus 1 lakh. At the end of 5th year, the scrap value is 1 lakh. So total depreciation amount comes out as 2 lakh rupees. Next is sinking fund factor. Sinking fund factor that is equal to I by I plus 1 whole power n minus 1. So I here is rate of interest, which is 5%, which is 0.05. So this is 0.05 divided by 1 plus 0.05 whole power n. N is number of years. Number of years is equal to 5 years minus 1. So this is 0.05 whole divided by 1.2763 minus 1 it would be. Okay. So this comes out to be as 0.184. Next is annual depreciation. That is equal to depreciation amount into sinking fund factor. So this is equal to 2 lakhs into 0.181. So this comes out to be as 36,200. That is per year. This is the depreciation per year. Per year, the machine value drops by 36,000. So these were few questions from industrial engineering estimation and costing. So if you find the session helpful in preparation for your exams, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned with the channel. Thank you and good night.